Hello, Accounting Superstars. This is Professor Don Bush from the Accounting Superstar channel. Glad you're here. I've been a professor for about 30 years and a CPA for about that long, and I've got great ways to explain accounting, so you're in the right place. Hey, today's lesson is about should a special order from a customer be taken or not? This lesson is usually towards the end of a managerial accounting course. It's usually the last chapter in the managerial accounting textbook also. And fortunately, it's not that hard to do. All we're going to do is look at the relevant costs. Some costs are going to make a difference, other costs are not. And so all we need to do is sort it out and we can make a good decision. But in this case, the decision isn't quite cut and dry like that. But we'll see here. We'll see how it goes. Hey, but before we get started, here's a picture of the end of my driveway. I thought this was a really pretty picture. I live up in the mountains in Colorado, and I thought this was great. A lot of beautiful green aspen trees. And also here's a picture of Regis University where I work. It's a great school. In fact, folks, if you want to learn accounting, come on, check it out. Check it out. In fact, if you like, leave in the comments and I can give you information on the right people to contact at Regis University. So going on to the lesson here, folks. Well, here's the deal, is that there is a boat dealership in the Pacific Northwest in Seattle that would like to buy 10 sailboats from Sunset Sailboat Company. It's not a huge order, but it's pretty significant. Now, so here's some details. The boat dealership in Seattle made an offer to purchase 10 sailboats from Sunset at a discounted price. So what's up with this discounted price? The second thing, the boat dealership may want to purchase more sailboats in the future. Now, nobody really knows. That's up in the air. They may want to buy more sailboats, maybe not. Maybe they'll be an ongoing customer, maybe not. But at this point in time, it's just a one-time offer. Now, Sunset does not currently sell sailboats in the Pacific Northwest, so there are no other dealerships in the Pacific Northwest. Seattle would be, the first time they've done business in the Pacific Northwest. Sunset Sailboat Company usually does business in Michigan, the Great Lakes area, New England, and Florida. Now, Sunset has idle factory capacity and can fill the order without affecting fixed costs. So they can build these boats with no problem. It really wouldn't disrupt the factory at all. In fact, they could do this order in addition to the orders that they're already doing with no problem at all. Lastly, Sunset will not have to pay any sales commissions on the special order. And that is because this boat dealership approached Sunset Sailboat Company. There was not a salesman out there selling boats. So let's see what is up with this special order. So here are the details for the special order. Seattle Boat Dealership offer. Now, the boat model is going to be the 22-foot Kingfish, a very popular boat. And it's a production boat, too. Sunset Sailboat Company can turn these out. And the number of boats requested, 10 sailboats. Just 10, no more, no less. Offer price per boat, $29,000. Now, this is a discounted price here. This is lower than what Sunset normally sells these boats at. And the shipping cost responsibility is up to Sunset. All right, so Sunset is going to have to ship these boats out to Seattle. That's part of the deal. So the question is, should Sunset take the order? That's the whole question right there. So here is some internal accounting information from Sunset Sailboat Company. Now, the dealership is not going to know any of this. Well, they probably know the regular wholesale price. They probably know that. But the rest of this, nobody outside the company would know this. So this is information inside. And so the company did some calculations on this 22-foot Kingfish. And here's what they came up with. SSC's regular wholesale price for the 22-foot Kingfish is $34,000. Now that's the regular price. And the dealership wants to buy them at $29,000. So this is a special order. Now that's a big drop in price. That's like a $5,000 drop in price. So Sunset needs to consider this carefully. So here are the costs to build the Kingfish. So direct labor, 6 grand, direct materials, 8,500, allocated fixed overhead, here 3,000, variable overhead 3,500, sales commissions on the special order. Well, they won't have to pay sales commissions. What this chart is, this is what normally happens. This is not the special order. So variable administrative expenses 1,000, fixed administrative expenses. So the total cost to build a Kingfish is $29,000, and they usually have a profit of $5,000 on one of these Kingfishes. So the management of the Sunset Sailboat Company is thinking, hey, what's up with this order? I mean, this is nuts. Look at this. So here's the initial reaction. So SSC's regular wholesale price for the 22-foot Kingfish is $29,000. And here are all those same costs that we just looked at a moment ago, which also happens to add up to $29,000. I mean, what are the chances of that? And so on each boat, Sunset Sailboat Company would not make a cent. And so you can see the thumbs down, and that's what management is thinking. But you got to wait and think here, think a little bit. For one thing, Sunset has idle factory capacity and can fill the order without affecting fixed costs. So let's highlight that. That's pretty important here. So Sunset Sailboat Company, if they build these boats, they're going to have to pay for direct labor to build the boats, and they're going to have to pay for materials, and they'll have to pay for variable costs, but they won't have to they won't have any increase in fixed costs. That is, the lease expense for the factory is not going to increase. The insurance for the factory is not going to increase. There's a lot of other costs that won't change at all. So fixed costs are going to stay the same. Now, when costs stay the same, say you have two alternatives here, alternative A, alternative B. When you have costs that stay the same, well, those costs are kind of irrelevant. They're not going to change anyways. And here's something that will change, though, is that Sunset will not have to pay any sales commissions on the special order. So they may have to think this through a little bit more. So this initial reaction, I mean, this is pretty normal here. The initial reaction is like, no way, we're not going to do this. I mean, this is a stupid idea. We won't make any money. But once they think a little deeper upon this, they find out, well, maybe this is not so bad of an offer. So here are the questions that I ask when I'm trying to solve this. Is number one, what costs will not be incurred if the offer is accepted? Well, those fixed costs, for instance. And what costs will be incurred if the offer is accepted, like direct labor, and those costs will be incurred. So here we go. So here's an abbreviated little statement here. So decision relevant costs regarding, and I misspelled regarding. Let me fix that. Regarding the one-time offer. So the one-time offer per boat is $29,000. So let's split the screen and let's get these other costs that are relevant. So going up here to, here we go. So here are the costs. So what we're going to do is pick out the ones that we're going to incur here if we do this order. So direct labor, $6,000, we'll have that. We've got to pay the guys and gals to build the boats. Direct materials, $8,500, we'll still have to pay for materials. Variable overhead, that's like greasing the machines and sandpaper and other indirect materials. There we go. Now the delivery cost to deliver it to Seattle, they'll have that, right? That cost. Variable administrative expenses, they'll have the variable administrative expenses. And I've got a little note here, for example, like purchasing, because the purchasing agent will have to get involved a little bit. And there'll be some other administrative matters to take care of. Probably a lot of forms and documents for title of the boats and that kind of thing. So the total variable costs here are $21,000. So let's see what kind of costs we left out. So we did not include, let's see here, allocated fixed costs. That did not get included. So we didn't include that. Fixed costs are not going to change. Sales commissions, not including that. Let's see here, anything else? Fixed administrative expenses, not including that. So there are some costs that we're not going to include because they're not going to change. Nothing's going to happen to those. They're not going away. They're not going to increase. They're going to stay the same. So, but we will have these other things like direct labor to build those boats, direct materials to build the boats, variable overhead, and the delivery cost. It'll be our responsibility to deliver them, and variable administrative expenses, things like purchasing and probably the title work and that kind of thing. Variable costs add up to $21,000. So 29 minus 21 is a contribution margin of $8,000. So what this means is if Sunset Sailboat Company accepts this order, they are going to make $8,000 per boat. It's like, wow, how'd that happen? In a normal order, they make $5,000 per boat. They make five. So, wow, this special order looks pretty darn good. Maybe we ought to take it. Okay, so I've got some questions down here for you. Right, and let me rearrange the screen just a little bit. Let's go down to our statement here. Our one-time special order, if we include just the costs that we will incur, we could make $8,000. Now, of course, that doesn't include any of the fixed costs because fixed costs aren't changing. So this looks enticing. And this would be 10 boats, so 10 times $8,000. So here are some questions. So question number 1. Based on the numbers alone, not thinking about anything else, but numbers alone, should the offer be accepted? And the answer would be, yeah, they should accept. They're going to make some pretty good money off of this order, even though it's just, the boats are being sold for $29,000. Now you might ask, why don't they always sell the boats for $29,000 and make lots of money? Well, the reason is they do have to cover fixed costs. They do have to cover those fixed costs. So coming down here to the next question. If the special offer was a long-term agreement to purchase many boats over a long period of time, should the offer be accepted? So this is a long-term business relationship. So they wouldn't sell just 10 sailboats, but they'd sell many sailboats, hopefully over several years. Well, in that case, the fixed costs are really important. You got to cover your fixed costs. And so if they wanted to sell these boats at $29,000 on a long-term basis, it's like, this is a bad idea, because they wouldn't make any money. So a short-term one-time offer, it could be a good idea. Long-term, bad idea, because all the costs aren't being covered. So last question here for you. What are some potential problems if one-time special offer is accepted? So what are some things that, some unintended consequences, you might say, if the short-term offer is accepted? What if they say, yeah, let's go for this? Look at this, man. We could make $8,000 a boat, per boat. And so here's one of them. Here's one problem. So number 1, Sunset is placed into a weak bargaining position if the boat dealership wants to buy boats in the future. So what if they do this one-time special order for $29,000 and the boat dealership says, hey, we love your boats. This was great. We'd like to develop this into a long-term relationship and buy boats from you every year. Well, it'll be difficult. It'll be more difficult for Sunset Sailboat Company to try to raise the prices to a normal wholesale price. See, the normal wholesale price is $34,000, not $29,000 like it is here. And so the Sunset Sailboat Company will be in a weak bargaining position because the boat dealership said, well, you sold us the boats before for $29,000. Why can't you continue doing that? And it's not a good way to go. That'll be a rough sell here because the reference price, if they do this special order, the reference price will be $29,000, and it'll be a hard sell to try to raise that up to 34, and they may not be able to get it up to 34 either. So here's another problem. Sunset is not developing a long-term business relationship by accepting the one-time special offer. So there are some businesses, they only look at the short term, and they're opportunistic. And that's a big word here, hard to say, opportunistic. And so, but most businesses, they want to develop long-term relationships with vendors and customers, and it's a better way. It makes business more predictable. So they wouldn't be developing a nice long-term relationship. So here's another problem. When other boat dealerships, both current and prospective, learn about the special offer price regarding the special boat dealership, what will be their reaction? Now, they are going to find out. The word will get around. You could say in the agreement, we'll keep this all secret. But the word will get out. You're going to find when you get out there working that different industries are very close. Like the auctioneers industry, everybody knows everybody. The construction industry, everybody knows everybody. The telecommunications, everybody knows everybody. And people switch companies too, between within industries. So so other boat dealerships are going to learn about this, and when they find out that they have been paying $34,000 per boat, and they find out that the Seattle boat dealership got boats at $29,000, they're not going to be happy at all. It'll cause some really big problems, and there'll be a lot of explaining that'll need to be done. It won't be a happy time at all. And lastly here, is it possible the lower price might send signals to the marketplace regarding the quality of and demand for Sunset sailboats? So these Sunset sailboats, they have been selling for $34,000 to boat dealerships in the Great Lakes, New England, Florida. And when they find out that there was a big price drop in Seattle, that the boats there were sold for $29,000, and again they'll be wondering, well, why are we paying $34 when they're paying $29? There also might be a signal that well, maybe these boats aren't worth $34,000. Maybe they're really only worth $29,000. And there are companies that have made this mistake where they drop their price and people perceive their product to be of lower quality. And one that comes to mind is Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz used to be at the pinnacle of car manufacturing. They used to be one of the finest luxury cars made. And then they came out with the C-Class Mercedes-Benz, which is an entry-level Mercedes, and it's not very well built. And so the whole product line of Mercedes-Benz has been kind of devalued a little bit because of the lower price. So anyways, it could happen. So word might get out that maybe these Sunset sailboats are not worth as much as we thought they are. Okay, so I hope this lesson helped you out here, folks. And if it did, hit the like button and the subscribe button. That way I'll know, YouTube will know, everybody will know that these videos are helping you, and YouTube will show you more of these videos. And also, you can find these videos by topic on my webpage, accountingsuperstars.com. So I've got all these videos listed out by topic. So until next time, over and out.